कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं पुनयादि परां गतिं विरवेदे परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षाद् रामायणात्मना अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्का भयङ्करं मनोजवं मारुतवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयुह्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आञ्जनेयमदिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं। यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्। नमः सदसे, नमः सभायै. With the abundant blessings of Paramatma Shriyapati, we have gathered in this premises to be witness to one of the Itihasa Sreshtams, Srimad Ramayanam, beginning today. Of course, this is not a continuous series considering the professional commitments of many of you who will be going for a full-time job, schools and colleges. We have Day 1 and Day 2, which is today and tomorrow. Day 3 and Day 4 is scheduled for the Friday and Saturday, which is July 4th and the 5th. So hopefully in these 4 days, we gather, or I muster the courage to speak about the nuances of Srimad Ramayanam. Around the same time last year, I had the opportunity to speak with the grace of Prema Pandurangji's trust, Kshetropasana, in this very place. It was on Krishna. This time Rama has taken his fair share. That said, we have bequeathed 2 beautiful scriptures in Bharatadesham. Every time our Honorable Prime Minister goes to the UK, there are voices that cry in the Twitter asking him to bring back the Kohinoor diamond from the Queen's crown. Be it may as it is, but in my humble opinion, IMHO, I firmly believe that the Kohinoor that we possess is the Ramayanam and Mahabharatam. We shouldn't be going behind that diamond, which may weigh a few carats. Nevertheless, of the 2 gems that we have received as gifts from our Purvacharyas, one is Srimad Ramayanam, the second is Sri Mahabharatam. Ramayanam has been taught to us generation after generation by our Purvacharyas. And we have always said that there is some rahasyam in it. That is the topic which has been chosen for 4 days. There is a Prachina Shlokam that does a Mangalacharanam to Ramayanam. Vaidehi sahitam suradrumatale haine mahamandape madhye pushpakamasane manimaye virasane susthitam agre vachayati prabhanjana sute tattvam munibhyah param vyakhyamtam bharadadibhih parivritam Ramam bhaje shyamalam. This is a verse that describes the very mandapam in which the divine couple is seated. Vaidehi sahitam, the one who is seated with Vaidehi. So this verse pays its obeisances to Sita first. Vaidehi sahitam. The birth of Sita to Janaka Maharaja, Janaka Siradhvaja, is associated with the Putrakameshti Mahayajna that he performed. And towards the end of the Putrakameshti, his Purohita, Shatananda, who was the son of Ahalya and Gautama Maharshi, had advised that the Rishi should till the land. True to being very sensitive to the causes of the people who were employed in agriculture, the king started tilling the land. And as he tilled, there was a furrow which was formed. The furrow portion found on Mother Earth is referred to as Sita. It is said that he spotted a little girl after this furrow was formed in the vicinity. Since this furrow gave way to the spotting of the little girl, the girl was called after the furrow and she was called Sita. Since she was the daughter of Janaka, she was called Janaki. Since she belonged to the Rajadhani of Mithila, she was called Maithili. Since she belonged to the province of Videha, she was called Vaidehi. Vaidehi, Maithili, Janaki, Sita. Since she was spotted on Mother Earth, she is considered as the daughter of Mother Earth. Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi, the one who is revered in Bhusuktam, has been referred to by various Paryayavachaka Shabdam, synonymous words. One, Dharani. Second, Bhumi. Third, Avani. Fourth, Kshiti. That is why, since she is spotted on Mother Earth, she is considered as the daughter of Mother Earth. Since she is the daughter of Mother Earth, she is Bhumija, Avanija, Dharanija, Kshitija. Bhumija Nayakam Bhukti Mukti Dayakam. Bhumija Nayakam. The one who is the Nayaka, the Lord, the Swami of Bhumija. Ravi Sashi Kuja Buddha Guru Shukra Shanishchara Rahu Ketu Netaram Rajakumaram Ramam Pavanajata Manoharam Bhajare Re Manasa Avanija Manoharam Kshitija Ramanam Chintaye. Bhumija, Avanija, Dharanija, Kshitija, Vaidehi, Maithili, Janaki, Sita. 8 names that are frequently associated with her. With that Sita, he is seated Vaidehi Sahitam Suradrumatale. Sura is Devas. Suradru is the celestial wish-yielding tree that is found in the backyard of the Devas, the Kalpaka Vriksham. So he is seated under the shade of the tree. Suradru Matale. How is the mandapam? How is the area where he is seated? It is gilded in gold. Haime Maha Mandape Vaidehi Sahitam Suradru Matale Haime Maha Mandape. Madhye, in its center, Pushpakamasane, an asanam that has been adorned with beautiful, fragrant, natural flowers. Pushpakamasane, Manimaye, it has been studded with precious, blemishless gems. Manimaye, Virasane, Rama is seated with one leg folded, the other leg extended. If you look at Shiva's form of Dakshinamurti, he is seated that way. It is called Dakshinyaramya Girishasya Murtihi Devi Sarojasana Dharmapatni Vyasadayopi Vyapadeshya Vajaha Spuranti Sarve Tavashakti Leshaihi. Says Swami Vedanta Deshika, one leg folded, the other leg extended. It is called Virasane. Is he seated well? I should be asking you all this question. Are you all seated well? Susthitam. He is seated well, very comfortably. Susthitam. And in front of this divine couple who are seated, Agrevachayati Prabhanjana Sute. In front of him is Hanuman, who sings the praises of the divine couple through Sundarakantam. Agrevachayati Prabhanjana Sute. And on the other corner are a few rishis who are discussing something. Tattvam Munibhyah Param Vyakhyantam Bharatadibhih Parivritam. Is there some legal case between the brothers now? No, these brothers don't fight. So, Bharata stands with the umbrella that provides shade to him, additionally to the shade given by Suradru. And Lakshmana and Shatrughna do Chamara Kainkaryam Bharatadibhiv Parivritam. How is Rama? Ramam Bhaje. Now is the description of Rama. Bhaje Shyamalam. So the one who is of the complexion of Shyamala is Rama. Who is Shyamala? Now, of the various Ramayana versions that we have all received from our Purvacharyas, one in every bhasha, in the Tamil language, we have the beautiful Ramayana called Kamba Ramayana. I will never venture into which language has come from which language. I want my discourse series to run. Let every language have its own due share of beauty and respect, be however they are. At the end of the day, I'm using Victoria's language to speak. So, it doesn't really matter. So, Kamban, the Tamil poet, 1,000+ years back, while he writes such verses in chaste Tamil, describing Rama's glory, he suggests that Rama, Sita and Lakshmana, the trio, walked in the forest. Since it was like the baby's day out for Rama to venture out of his comfort zone. So, Kamban, the Tamil poet, took it upon himself to describe the complexion of Rama, though he was way past his marriageable age, because that is one of the necessary things to fill in Bharat matrimony, right? The complexion of the skin. So, though he was way past that age, still Kamban wanted to take up on him to describe the complexion of Rama. So he says, Veyyon voli tanmeniyil virijodiyil maraya. ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ತಮಿಳ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಲ್ಲೇ ಅದು ಭಾವಾರ್ಥ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. Veyyon voli tanmeniyil virijodiyil maraya. Veyyon is Surya, sun. So, sun is shining bright in Tamil Nadu. So, it's shining in all its glory. So, Veyyon voli tanmeniyil, the rays of the bright sun were falling on Rama. Veyyon voli tanmeniyil. See, if you're into the nuances of the Tamil language, remember, voli in Tamil means light. Voli means sound. Just the inability for the tongue to say la in Tamil can end up telling both the words as voli, and they will eventually become Tamil news readers. So, Veyyon voli tanmeniyil, the rays of the sun were falling on Rama. Now, Kamban, being the poet par excellence, the poet extraordinaire, he says when the light of the sun was falling on Rama, it reflected back so much so that the sun went into hiding. Veyyon voli tanmeniyil virijotiyil maraya. Now, who followed him? Sita followed him. Who is she? He doesn't call her Vaidehi, Maithili, Janaki, Avanija, Dharanija, Bhumija, Kshitija, none of the names. He calls her Poyo Yenu Midayal, the one to whom it appears to us that her hip is a pseudo one, is an absent one, which literally means her hip was so thin that to the onlookers they would be left puzzled if it existed. Poyo Yenu Midayal. In chemistry it is called acetic acid pseudo reaction. Botany it's called pseudo carp. Here it's pseudo hip. Poyo Yenu Midayal. Quickly followed by Lakshmana, Ilaya Nodum Ponan, with the younger brother called Lakshmana. So Rama walked, followed by Sita, and then Lakshmana. Veyyon voli tanmeniyil virijotiyil maraya. Now he has to describe the complexion of Rama. Adumayo. Is it the black hue derived and deduced from the collyrium that is applied to the eyes? Adumayo. No. Could it be the green hue that is extracted from the emeralds that are mined in the northeastern frontier of Afghanistan? Maragadamo. Is it that green hue from the emerald stone? No. Or is it the blue complexion, the blueness that is derived from the seas of Mauritius and Maldives and Seychelles? Marikadalo.
Then he says, it is neither completely dark, or is it the grey hue derived from the rain-bearing clouds that is just about to precipitate? Mazhai mugilo, adu maiyo, maragadamo, mazhai mugilo, marikadalo. What color is this? Finally, he comes with the magical word in Tamil. Ayyo. He says, I can't even tell what color is this. So if you bring all these 4 colors of the black from the collyrium, the green from the emeralds, the blue from the blue seas, and the grey from the rain-bearing clouds, and put them together, that color is called Shyamalam. Ramam bhaje Shyamalam. So this describes the mandapam of Rama. And if you remember in this entire verse, wherever possible, I could give you an explanation, barring that place where the rishis were discussing. Tattvam munibhyah param, the rishis were discussing something. What were they discussing? That is the topic of our 4-day lecture, Secrets of the Ramayana. What they were discussing is this topic. That said, we have tentatively 8 rahasyas that are kind of formulated, because these rahasyas, some of it we have learned from our Purvacharyas, because 1000 years back Bhagavad Ramanuja went all the way to the foothills of Tirumala Tirupati and learned these esoteric meanings from his very own maternal uncle, Matula. He had a learned uncle. He learned all this from his learned uncle, and those have been tabulated as Ashtadasha Rahasyam, Bahyakshepaha, Kalarthaha, Bhavabhayam, Sadvrittam, Acharyavarta, Gayatri Artaha, Hitamuchitaparam Tattva Arthamscha Pancha, Karpanyam, Seshabhavaha, Ghatakavidipalam, Paratantriam Tatatat, Kashtakala Pratiksha, Vasati Padamiti, Prahuhu, Ashtadasharthan. There is another shloka, Vidya Sarva Vivahya, Tyajanam Akhila Sadharma, Adhyatmikartaha. 18 rahasyas he learned. I've spoken about this in detail in various lectures. But now I thought, why can't we just repackage it and come up with smaller rahasyas which we can fill and complete in a few days. So I've packed them into 8 rahasyas. Hopefully, by all your cooperation, we will be able to manage to complete 3 today, 3 tomorrow, Friday at MLR Center at 5 p.m, the 7th one, the penultimate one, and on Saturday, the July 5th at the same MLR Center, we will be able to complete the 8th one. So 1 reserved for Friday and Saturday, 3 and 3 for today and tomorrow. That's it. The first rahasyam, her ears that speak. Her ears that speak. What is intriguing or probably cryptic about this statement is, her ears that hear will sound more logical. Her mouth that speaks, even more logical. But it's a combination of the two. Her ears that speak. How can the ears speak? So in this relationship, we need to understand, there is a Prachina Shlokam in Raghuvamsham by Kalidasa. After paying his obeisances to his Ishta Devata, he says, Athavakrit Vagdvare Vamshe Asmin Purva Surivihi Manau Vajra Samutkirine Sutrasyevasti Megati. When people went and interviewed Kalidasa, they said, you have created a magnum opus. What a beautiful poem this Raghuvamsham is. He said on a very humble note, see, I didn't have to work much. My Purvacharyas have worked extensively on this. So he says, Purva Surivihi. He says the one who lived much before me and who is to be respected. He doesn't say who is that person. The commentator Mallinatha to Raghuvamsham states, it is Valmikadivihi. He says Kalidasa refers to Valmiki as his predecessor. What Kalidasa says is, see, I didn't have to do work a lot. If there are precious gems and pearls and corals taken, the one who takes the maximum risk is the one who bores within those gems and emeralds and corals, because in the boring process, many of them will get lost or broken. Finally, if the person who is able to bore is able to do that with lot of care, the person who has to string it has to do nothing. He has to just take a thread and follow the path and insert it into all the corals or emeralds or the gems or the pearls. So he says all the work related to Ramacharithram has been done by my predecessor called Valmiki. What I did was just follow the string. Sutrasyevasti megati. So Valmiki has been regarded, respected, loved, and referred to as the pramanam for Rama's biography. Does Shuka agree with it? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Shuka Brahmam tells Parikshit, Tasyanucharitam Rajan Rishibhis Tattvadarshibhihi Shrutam hi Varnitam Bhuri Tvaya Sita Pater Muhu. So he says, Purva Suribihi, Valmiki has birth. Now, who is this Valmiki? A very short description of Valmiki's Charitram. You must have all heard, seen, discussed. It is not elaborately found in the Ramayana, but we have sources from other Puranas that suggest that there was a rishi called Bhrigu. In his lineage came a boy who was extremely naughty, mischievous during his younger days. He was called Harita. Now the father was unable to bear and withstand the bad behavior, the uncivilized behavior of his own son. So in those days, when you had forests, you could excommunicate your children to the forests. So now, since we are bereft of forests, they have to stay home. So here the father said, I excommunicate you. This boy went into the forest. He was adopted into the hunter clan. The hunter clan felt very close to him. And he too started imbibing their language, their habits. Samsargaja doshagunaha bhavanti, says Vedanta Deshika. Eventually he became a hunter, he had a family. And when there was a shortage, fund crunch, he became a robber, a dacoit to the passers-by. So this is what is told in the Skanda Purana. I'm sure bits and pieces of it is what you must have also heard. And there is a hearsay that in that state he was called Ratnakara and he had a family. One day he saw Narada Maharshi walking by the woods taking his beautiful famed veena called as Mahati that had the inline of gold. Seeing the resplendent veena, he caught hold of the veena and the one who owned the veena, who's Narada Maharshi. Narada said, see, generally people steal from better people, not me. Why did you choose me of the all? So he said, I'm planning to stand for the coming elections. So I should develop this art. So that is when Narada Maharshi said, see, what you've done is absolutely wrong. You will incur papas. And this man said, Ratnakara said, my family will share. Whatever we get, we share. We are social media people. Whatever we get, we share. Whether it's verified or unverified, we share. That is when Narada said, see, papas generally nobody will share. Even if it is your close kith and kin, they won't. You go ask them. He went and asked. Those family members were very clear. They said, we won't partake your papas. And that very minute, it is said, Ratnakara got his that moment of his enlightenment. He came back to Narada. He said, how should I spend the rest of my life? That is when Narada initiated him to mantra and said, you start doing tapas. So this Ratnakara, following the words of Narada, sat like an insentient, immovable object, and over and above him, termites constructed a hill. This termite hill was constructed, and with little oxygen to go in and come out, he was able to survive. Eventually, looking at the intensity of his austerities, Brahma came, sprinkled some waters, that beautiful anthill crumbled, and from it arose a resplendent Maharshi now with the aura in him. So this person with such incomparable aura, since he arose from the anthill, was to be called after the anthill. Since Sita, the furrow, gave rise to the girl, she was called Sita. Similarly, the anthill gave rise to him. The anthill in Sanskrita Bhasha is called Valmikam. Since he arose from Valmika, he is called Valmiki. So the one of the Bhrigu Vamsham who went detoured for different places finally became Valmiki. I told this while I spoke 3-4 months back at the famous Anjaneya Swami temple, Varaprasad Anjaneya Swami temple in JP Nagar. And about in the month of November 2024, I was scheduled to deliver a Tamil lecture, Upanyasa Pravachana in Delhi Tamil Sangam, Delhi. So it was decided very months back that I have to speak. They had printed banners and they had released everywhere that Dushyanth will be talking on Ramayana. A week before the lecture, I received a call from the organizer stating that, "Sir," the voice trembled. There was some source of fear in that voice. I asked, "What troubles you? Is it me?" No, he said, "No, as of now, no." So I asked, "What troubled him then?" He said that there's an FIR on you. I said, I don't think I've committed a crime that is, I speak a lot, but that doesn't merit an FIR on me. So I asked him what could be the reason. So he said, "See, in one of your interviews to Ornob, where he let me speak, so he asked me, who is Valmiki, and tell me his antecedents." So I told the same thing, whatever I told you. Now when I told that Valmiki was Harita, then he was sent to the forest, he became a hunter, then a dacoit, then a Maharishi, some remote community in one part of Punjab, who are Valmiki community, took offense and thought, "How can you say he was a dacoit at one point in time?" And they filed an FIR. See, I said, if at all you have to file it on Vyasa. I'm telling you what Vyasa has told in Skanda Purana. See, this is where we get very sensitive and touchy these days. I am telling you what the Purana says. He was a dacoit, he was a robber in his previous Avatara 1.0. In Avatara 2.0, he was a great Maharishi called Valmiki. This is what is relevant and important to us. But the moment we start filing FIRs for this, then tomorrow I cannot discuss Bhagavatam and call Krishna as a butter thief. Because Lallu Prasad Yadav will file a case. He'll say you're called Yadav a thief. So, that may be true in his case, but still. No, I'm just trying to forget all of these. Now, from Valmikam arose Valmiki. Now, let's come back to Srimad Ramayanam. It is often asked, when did Valmiki write the Ramayana? Was it as if Rama was born in the hospital and he said, "Oh yes, tatascha dvadashe mase, here Rama is born with the aura of the 1,000 stars." No, did he write it that way? No. So the sojourn of Ramayana is simple. Rama was born, he was married at the age of 12 to Sita, who was at the age of 6. 12 years they lived happily in Ayodhya. Rama was beginning 25, Sita was 18. They were sent on an exile for 14 years. Rama returned while he was 39, Sita while she was 32. Then 2 years after Pattabhishekam, she was pregnant. Tatha Abhishekanantaram Varshadvayam Jatam. So she was around 34, beginning 35, Rama was 41. So to this 35-41 aged couple is when she turns pregnant. So at that point in time, if you pay attention, you will know the journey of the Ramayana. So Rama, he is extremely conversant with Sita, and they go around in a gallery. This gallery movement of Rama and Sita has been described by a great poet called Bhavabhuti, who wrote Uttara Rama Charitra. So Rama held Sita's hand, they were walking by the gallery. There were beautiful paintings that were depictive of some of the important events in Rama and Sita's life. So to one painting, Sita stood amazed. Rama wondered, what is this painting? That painting was the one where Sita was engaging with the wives of the Maharishis in the forest, because they were already in the forest earlier. That was the painting. There was a deer around, there were rabbits and peacocks, and it was such a serene atmosphere and such a vivid picture of the flora and the fauna around. At that point in time, Rama, Sita, what attracts you to this painting? Tapovanani punyani drashtumichhami raghava Gangati Vishtanam Rishinam Ugrate Jasam. If given another opportunity, Rama, Sita tells Rama, if given another opportunity, I would love to spend my time with the Maharishis and these animals in the forest. Rama notes it down, noted. That evening in Srimad Ramayanam Uttarakandam, an informer called Bhadra, he comes and confides in Rama that there has been some grapevine, negative in nature, unsubstantiated, not corroborated at all, being spoken by a handful of people in Ayodhya. Rama listens to it and it doesn't augur well for him, his wife Sita and his family. Now here comes the most tricky part of the Ramayana, because all your children and grandchildren will listen to the Ramayana till this point. This is where their big dilemma begins. You say Rama is a complete man, Purushottama. How can he abandon his wife? Narayana Bhattatri, the great Acharya poet of the 16th century, in the 35th Dashakam of Narayaniyam, he says, Maithilyam Papavacha Shiva Shiva Kilatam Garbhinim Abhyahasihi. He says, Sita had to be abandoned in the forest. When I say had to be, Rama felt it is high time that I keep my nation, my administration over and above Sita. There could be questions if it is right or wrong. We will reserve it for another day. But for now, Rama thought there should be not even an accusation, a finger pointing towards my administration. Even if it means to sacrifice my own family, personal life, it's okay. Now, Bhattatri says in the Ramayana, what could be the reason for Rama's act? He says, Atita, Dharmatita. Over-attachment to rules and dharma and deadlines can make you an OCD person. You'll be very clear. Oh, the deadline has come. It is 4:59. Why has Dushyanth not begun his lecture? He has begun only at 5:16. So Rama was of that type. Krishna will come only at 7. And he will go on till 10. People will stay. That is Krishna Avataram. Rama will begin at 4:49. So, dharma atitam. Over-attachment to dharma. Let's keep it aside. Now, Sita had expressed her desire to spend her time in the forest. It was around the same time that she came and told Rama, see, there are 2 red lines in the strip, I am pregnant. Apatyalabho Vaidehi, says Uttarakandam. Apatyalabho Vaidehi means she is Garbhavati. She was in the first trimester. So Rama on one side listens to her desire during the daytime. In the night, he listens to the grapevine that has been circulating through a sayer called Bhadra. As an administrator, he has to do something. As a husband, he has to do something. So he immediately summons Lakshmana and says, Lakshmana, I command you that you escort Sita to the forest and leave her in the forest. Lakshmana says, Rama, when we had lots of agony in our life, we were waiting for such bright days. Why do you have to sacrifice your own happiness for all this sake? Rama said, don't question. Do what I say. While he said, this is the shloka. Gangayastu pare pare Valmikestu mahatmanaha ashramo divya sankasham tamasa tiramashhritaha. He did not say just abandon. He said, crossing the waters of Ganga, closer to the waters of Tamasa, wherever Valmiki ashramam is in the vicinity, leave her there. If he has to leave her, he doesn't have to give the coordinates, right? Oh, crossing Ganga, near Tamasa, near Valmiki ashramam. Lakshmana said, okay, done. Theek hai bhaiya. Now, Sita is taken. Sita does not know that she is going to be abandoned. She thinks it's her day out. So she's been taken to the forest. She relishes the nature around. That is when Lakshmana tells her that my brother has ordered that you will have to stay in the forest. She sheds tears. Then she has a few lightning-like questions to ask. See, we generally believe, or we are made to believe, that Sita is a very meek, weak lady. She needs an Abhishek Manu Singhvi or a Kapil Sibal to fight our case. This is our belief. She doesn't need an advocate. She can fight our case. She doesn't need an advocate. She asks Lakshmana, you and your brother keep flaunting that you learnt under Vasishtha. If you believe that you have learnt Shastram and Dharmam under Vasishtha, did Vasishtha teach you to abandon a lady who's pregnant in the middle of the forest? Go and ask your brother that. She's very strong. But Lakshmana has his head down because he knows that there is absolute injustice that is meted to Sita. But eventually, did Sita accept life as is? That is what it seems when we read Uttarakandam. How Jagannatha accepts it should not be our concern. How we accept it. Purandaradasa says, ಮನೋವಕಾಯದಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕರ್ಮಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ದಾನವಾಂತಕ ನಿನ್ನ ಅಧೀನವಂತೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದರೇನು ಈ ಪ್ರಾಣನಿಂದದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಶ್ರೀನಾಥ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ದಾಸನ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನುದಯ ಬಾರದೆ ದಾಸನ ಮೇಲೆ ಪನ್ನಗ ಶಯನ ಶ್ರೀ ಪರಮ ಪುರುಷ ಹರಿಯೇ ಇನ್ನುದಯ ಬಾರದೆ. So when Sita, who represents a Jivatma, has to undergo ordeal, then who are we? This is how our Purvacharyas have always compared. When you undergo ordeal in your life, always compare with people who are suffering. Then you will, generally the comparison is, ayyo, ava nanna irukka. Nanna irukka. Upanyasamum kekkuradilla. Innottar, adu kekkaatnala da nanna irukka. Now, this is very tough for translation. Nothing, it's trivial, whatever I've said. Now, when Lakshmana abandons Sita, Valmiki comes to the scene. He spots Sita and escorts Sita. He understands what has transpired in her life. He takes her to his ashramam. The people who have been serving his ashramam ask Valmiki, who is this? He gives an introduction of Sita. Look at the introduction. Every verse of Ramayanam is worth a solitaire. Snusha Dasharathasyasha. She, Valmiki introduces. Snusha Dasharathasyasha. She is the daughter-in-law to Dasharatha. First introduction. Snusha Dasharathasyasha. Janakasya Suta Sati. She is the daughter to Janaka. Apapa Patina Tyakta Paripalya Maya Sada. Apapa Patina Tyakta. She is the daughter-in-law to Dasharatha, daughter to Janaka. Next should have been in the order, wife to Rama. She who is blemishless has been abandoned by that man. Apapa Patina Tyakta. He doesn't even mention the name Rama. Why should he go about this introduction? Remember, in Sundarakandam, when Hanuman meets Sita under the shade of Shimshupa Vriksham, he confirms because he is not sure whether this is Sita or Gita. So, yeah, Sita ji, Heli, because he is from Karnataka, he speaks in Kannada. Heli tau yaru. That is when Sita says, Snusha Dasharathasyaham, Janakasya Suta. I am the daughter-in-law to Dasharatha. I am the daughter to Janaka. I am the wife to Rama. What does this inform us? During the Ramayana and Mahabharata times, how much ever you research, you will not find a single incident of a bad relationship between the in-laws and the daughter-in-law or son-in-law. They were extremely cordial. This is the first learning for us. It all began with Sasvi Bahuti. In the Ramayana times, see how great and pristine, pure the relationship between Dasharatha and Sita must have been. When Sita was languishing in the prison of Lanka, and when Hanuman asked, she said, Snusha Dasharathasyaham, I am the daughter-in-law of Dasharatha. Had he been a man of very poor character, bad demeanor, yeah. When she says, I am the daughter-in-law to Dasharatha, that is the first lesson we need to learn. Janakasya Suta Sati. Then Valmiki says, don't ask her probing questions. Let her be under our custody and nourishment in our ashramam. So the pregnant Sita is escorted to Valmiki's ashramam and she stays from then on there. She's allotted 301. Now Sita is 35. You remember? 17 and a half minutes back I told you what were their ages. Yeah. This should be like a semester. At least till the lecture is over, you should remember. So Sita was 35, Rama was 41. Till then, Ramayana was not written. Valmiki knew of Rama and that he was a repository of all auspicious qualities. He was extremely popular. Page 1 and page 3 always had Sita and Rama. So there was no question about their popularity. There was no question about Maharishis not knowing about them. Everybody knew. But till then, biography was not written. Now, Valmiki was extremely perturbed. I thought Rama to be a complete man. Maryada, Purushottam, Prabhu Shri Ramchandra. Aise kaise kar sakte hain? With these doubts and pandemonium in his mind, when he went to the forest, is where he saw one of the birds being shot by a hunter. He utters a curse. He comes back to his ashramam. While he is all confused about the incidents that were around him, that is when Narada Maharshi comes. Tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidambaram naradam paripapracha valmikir munipungavam. Then Narada Maharshi comes. Narada asks, what disturbs you, Valmiki? Then Valmiki says, in this present world, is there not one person who has got all the 16 qualities? Because he earlier thought Rama had. Since he had abandoned his wife, he thought Rama has lost that position. Then he wants to know if somebody else is filling that position. That is when Narada Maharishi says, Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha Ramo Nama Janaishrutaha. That Rama whom you have mistaken to not consider have these qualities is the one who has it. Then Brahma comes. After Narada leaves, Brahma comes. Brahma says, now I command that you write the biography of Rama. That is when Valmiki says, see, he is now 41 years of age. How he was born, when he was born, to whom he was born, what did he study, under whom he studied, whom he married, how he married, when he went to the forest, what all he did in the forest, how he came back, how he fought. Nothing of it I know. How will I know what has happened to write in the biography? That is when Rahasyam cha Prakasham cha. Whatever has happened knowingly in Rama's life and not is very privy, is very private in Rama's life, will be known in the palm of yours and you can see it, and as you see, you write. So that is when Valmiki starts writing the Ramayana. So, but there could be a question. He could have written as a figment of his own imagination, right? No. The Ramayana that Valmiki wrote was taught to the children of Rama, who ultimately went and sang before Rama. When Rama has ratified with his facsimile, it means that the biography was honest. So in this Ramayana sojourn, we have heard of Valmiki. Now get back to 5:30 p.m. today. I told you Sita was spotted on Mother Earth. So she is considered as the daughter of Mother Earth. So she is the daughter of Mother Earth. Bhumija, Avanija. On the other hand, I told you that Valmiki, to become Valmiki, he had to be inside an anthill called Valmikam. What is Valmikam? Termite hill. What is the termite hill? Vedam suggests that for Bhumi Devi, Mother Earth, if she has to hear, listen, she needs ears, Karnam. Her ears are the ant hills, says Upanishad. I will read out that passage of the Upanishad. Urjamba yetagum rasam prithivya upadika uddihanti yad valmikam yad valmikavapa sambharo bhavati urjameva rasam prithivya avarundhe atho shrotrameva shrotragum yetat prithivyaha yad yetat valmikaha. This comes in Taittiriya Brahmanam of Krishna Yajurveda that says yetat valmikaha, this anthill, shrotram for Bhumi Devi, they are the ears. So for Bhumi Devi, anthills are the ears. From the anthill called Valmikam came Valmiki. Valmiki is thereby the son of Mother Earth. Sita is the daughter, Valmiki is the son. So the relationship is that of a brother and sister. That is why in her pregnancy, she went to her brother's ashramam to deliver. Now, do our acharyas agree with this? Yes. Swami Vedanta Deshika says, Vedopa Brahmana Kutuhalina Nibaddham Vishwambhara Shruti Bhavena Maharshina Yat. Vedopa Brahmana, Veda, Vedas, Upabrahmana, Itihasas, Kutuhalina Nibaddham. So Bhagavan has a pair of padukas, footwear. Vedanta Deshika, the poet extraordinaire, says to understand the greatness of the Padukas, the two Padukas, it seems you need two eyes. One eye is the Ramayana, the second is Mahabharata. So with the Ramayana based eye and Mahabharata based eye, you can understand the greatness of the pair of Padukas. What is Ramayana? Vishwambhara Shruti Bhavena Maharishi Na Yat. The one which has been written by a Maharishi who arose from the years of Mother Earth. Vishwambhara Shruti Bhavena. Now, for all this explanation, I have some architectural, sculpture-based photos which you have to see on your mobile. So, be it whatever type, Android or Apple, go to the browser, type www.desikadaya.org. If you type this, you can see the visuals as I explained. www.desika, DESIKADAYA, continuously, Desikadaya, DESIKADAYA.org. On the landing page, you will see at the top, click here for Ramayana Rahasya, secrets of the Ramayana. Do you see that scroll at the top on your landing page? Click that. It will ask for your email ID. Type submit. Once you submit, you can download a PDF onto your phone. The first picture that you see in that PDF is one of the earliest depictions of Narada Maharshi. Narada was a sanchari, he was a marketing person, always traveling. This Narada is spotted. Can you see one Maharishi with a mustache, a beard and a veena in his hand called Mahati? Can you see that? That is shown in the cave called Undavalli caves in Vijayawada. This is 1500 years old Narada. It was sculpted 1500 years back in the Undavalli caves of Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. If you remember a few minutes back, I said initially Valmiki had a conversation with Narada. Subsequently, Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma came and blessed him. This conversation between Chaturmukha Brahma and Valmiki is found in the next slide. Can you see the next slide with Brahma with a few faces? Can you see it? Yes, no, yes. Next to that, you see some Mahanubhavas who have broken the sculptures. We have such great Mahanubhavas as well. And you see those birds. This conversation between Brahma and Valmiki is spotted in the Banthai Chmar temple in Cambodia 1300 years back. So if you go to this temple in Cambodia, Kambuja Desham, you can see this. Now, go to the third slide. That is very important. This sculpture, incidentally, is from our very own Pradesha of Karnataka. In the northeastern part, somewhere further north, we have the Chalukyan triangle. We have Badami, Pattadakallu and Aihole. That is the triangle of the Chalukyas who ruled roughly between the 3rd and the 8th century CE, Common Era. This is a sculpture found in Badami, cave 3. Cave number 3. There are 4 caves. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th is a Jina cave. 3rd is a Vaishnava cave. 1st is a Shaiva cave. 2 is a combination of the 2. This is how we distribute Badami. This is a 1500-year-old sculpture found in the cave of Badami of Chalukyan architecture. You see Varaha there. Do you see Varaha Murti? You see him with the Adi Purusha Sharira, with the face of a wild boar, and he is lifting his dear wife Bhumi Devi from the deluge waters. Do you see a lady there? That is Bhumi Devi. And do you see an Adi Sesha with folded hands at the bottom? Yes. See, if you see the pictures, it will be engaging. Little mobile data will go. Mukesh will take care of it. Now, this Varaha who lifted Bhumi Devi, in turn, Adisesha lifted her with his hoods. See, in the colloquial Tamil language, if we have to describe a couple, a newly married couple, we would say that the husband is so praises and is so appreciative of his wife. So there is a colloquial statement that suggests, Avar thalela vichin tangarar. Literally, Bhagavan does that. He supports his wife Bhumi Devi on his hoods. Mama can't do that. Will die. So here, he supports his wife. So Adisesha at the bottom, Bhuma Devi at the top, lifted by Varaha. Udhritasi Varahena Krishnena Shatabahuna. Who is Varaha? Later Rama. Who is Bhumi Devi? On her surface is spotted Sita. What are her ears? Valmiki. Who left her in the forest near Valmiki's ashramam? Lakshmana, who's Adisesha. So this is a beautiful triangle in architecture that connects the first rahasya, her ears that speak.